Ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be back. It's a new year. We have a brand new audio out session here for you. We got local blues legend Mr. Steve Cerqua with us. It's a great pleasure to be able to sit down and chat with him, hear a little bit more about his story. Uh, Steve, thanks for coming here today, man.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
So, how'd you wind up in the Illinois Valley?
Well, in the early '90s, I was working for a music store in Hillside called PM Music Center, and then they were going out of business. And at the time, the repairman who did all the horn repairs, he knew had a connection out here, and so we kind of just came out this way. The big thing then was doing the band instrument rentals and that kind of thing, and no one was really doing it at the time, and that's how we came out to LaSalle.
Okay, so you pretty much moved here and started Valley Music right away then?
Yes.
Okay.
'94.
Right on. So, yeah, I think I probably started hitting up Valley Music in like the late 90s. I took trumpet lessons there and piano lessons and drum lessons and guitar lessons.
I remember.
So, yeah, you remember me from being a little kid. How about you, Jeff?
I've been in there a few times. Stopped in and I didn't do any lessons or anything, but yeah, been in there a few times and seen you and Rick. So
self-taught?
Yeah.
Jeff, right on.
I regret
Tabs.
it sometimes.
Tabs?
Tabs.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Tabs and just ear too.
All right. So yeah, and then, I mean, so that's been your thing, but also the blues has been your thing.
Blues.
So that story goes a little bit further back, right?
Yes, it does.
93. Right?
I was born in 1960, and I was born into a very musical family. My father was a jazz sax player. Very sadly died of throat cancer when he was 44. But before he passed away, took me to see Ray Charles, B.B. King.
Wow.
And then also in that time period, I saw Muddy Waters with Eric Clapton, and really when I saw B.B. King, that hooked me. That beat, that style of music, and I'm like, and of course my father wanted me to be a jazz player.
Okay.
And I'm just like, Dad,
That's
it.
So you were all
that's what I wanted to do.
All into the Delta mostly.
Oh yeah, and that's where it all started. And then, like I said, I think it was around '79 or '80 when I saw Muddy Waters and Eric Clapton Electric Blues, and then the hook was complete.
And it's still going, right?
And it's still going. Never stopped.
That's
Never
awesome.
looked back.
Did you catch Stevie Ray Vaughan at all?
No, unfortunately, I would have loved to, but another one of another great influence. I mean.
Nice. So were you seeing most of those musicians in Chicago then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, and in fact, Ray Charles, we saw at a very intimate setting and Ray Charles was my dad's hero.
Oh wow.
And at the time, my dad was kind of sick, and the whole family, we went. And they walked, the guy always walks Ray out to the piano, walk right past my father. I'm
Wow,
just like,
that's cool.
I had the chills for him.
That's awesome.
So like how would he try to press you to play jazz? Or like maybe it wasn't pressure, but like how did he try to get you to be a jazz musician?
What he loved was and you know yourself, being a musician, that jazz takes everything to the next level, So, and as a sax player, he was just that was where his heart was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very lucky under the circumstances that before he passed away, he introduced me to his guitar player, who was also the leader of his band, Stu Pierce, who ended up being probably the most influential musician in my life. Took me under his wing, and not only taught me music, but taught me the business.
Nice.
And gave me the thinking process of, if you're going to make it in this time as a musician, you have to use all your talents, not just not just and encouraged me playing the blues, but also encouraged me to teach, to read, to play weddings, to play parties, to play everything that it took. Because basically, the way he kind of told me was, if this guitar's in your hands, that's your tool. That's how you're gonna make it. He goes, combining all your efforts, you can make it. He goes, and you may never make it big. He goes, but you can make it. He goes, and just to have a pipe dream that I would be the next Eric Clapton. He's just like, no, forget that. And basically, he's pegged me.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
at least he tells it how it is.
Exactly.
And,
at 18, you didn't want to hear that.
Right.
I'm like, what? No. Play a wedding? No. But he was right, and that's what I do all those things now.
Right on. Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So if people want to reach out to you nowadays, like, would Facebook be a way to go?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, okay. and you can reach me for private lessons, and and Facebook. I always post my gigs and where I'll be and where you can find me. So.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, you've kind of been playing around the region, for like I know you go up to or down to Peoria pretty regularly.
Yeah, the band we go from Chicago to Peoria to all the different suburbs and a lot out here, and then solo I'm everywhere, and
nice.
With weddings and things like that. Cool. So you never know where you're gonna go, and just keep myself busy, just like gotta book the gigs. Never ends. That's another thing Stu told me, which I'm sure is if you decide you want to stop making the phone calls, the gigs will stop. And you gotta keep after it. So.
It's a true story.
Yeah, it's a true story.
It's just very cool though that two of your sons, followed your suit as well. You guys. Yes. Matt, he's in California right now in a recording studio, and Mike, and he's always playing out too.
Yes. Matt just got hired on at Westlake where Sinatra and all those people recorded.
Thriller was recorded.
And yes, exactly. Yeah, all the Michael Jackson stuff, and Mike, who I call the mini me. he's right there with me. So
that's great.
And it makes me proud. It makes you proud.
Absolutely, yeah, I bet. Very cool.
Very cool. Let's see. So, I know you mentioned you do write your own songs too.
I've written probably, I don't know, maybe a dozen songs. A few we do with the band. I don't really do any acoustically, but yeah, I mean, I'm always dabbling in that.
Nice.
My love, like you were saying, Jeff, is is the old. I mean, although I love my band is the passion. That's Crossroads is my band, and playing electric blues is just I love it. But playing acoustic blues is where it puts some time in. Yes, and that's what I do more than anything. Is, the old try to keep all that old music going.
Definitely.
Very cool.
Definitely. Have you thought about like cutting an album of your original music at all, just to kind of have it documented?
I would eventually like to do that, but I just want it to be. I'm a tough critic of myself. I don't want it to be just a standard blues. It's something that everyone's done. I'd like it to be something special, but I definitely don't rule it out.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of our own harshest critics in some ways. I know, like I listen back to albums that I made in like 2010 and 2011, and I definitely cringe at some moments, but at the same time, I'm glad that I documented it, because I think partially that's what it is, just like saving these ideas.
Even though you don't want to hear it again, you still like, it humbles you really. And you're like,
right.
Now this is where I am now, and this is what I've learned since then. And even actually, I saw a post, you had just posted something, I don't know, maybe a week or two ago, Kevin, and something that you had documented, like 2010 or 2011, and you're like, oh boy, this goes way back.
Oh yeah, true, exactly. And then, I mean it's So, I mean, have you written songs since you were a young kid, like 18, 19, 20? Or is that something you
No,
got into
more.
later
I
on?
tell you when, as we've discussed a few times, as some of your trials and tribulations
Ah, yeah.
happen in life, that's where I really started
I hear
writing.
you.
You know,
Yeah.
and but a lot of that too was, you know, you're in a depressed mood and things like that, and some of it was just that. And
Free therapy.
yes, exactly.
True,
You know,
yeah.
so
Absolutely.
although two of the songs that we do are from that period, but you know, I wanted you just want more, and like you know, I'm sure you know, it's a process. You know, it's the more you do it, the better you get at it,
True.
and I'm definitely working on it.
Awesome. So with Crossroads, is it like the Tarnowski brothers? That's the backing
Yes.
drum and bass then.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool then to get to work with siblings, because it's like they have their own kind of connection too,
Exactly.
and it kind of creates this.
Very proud of those
group
guys.
dynamic.
Very proud of those guys. They both have dedicated themselves to me and the band, and um, I love the band right now. We just keep getting better and better and tighter. Especially we put it down to a trio, and yeah, Nick Tarnowski is just a great bass player, and Jimmy
Definitely.
great drummer. So
Definitely.
I'm very happy.
That's awesome.
Very good.
And I mean, that's kind of a similar tradition with you and your sons, to where like their dad plays as well.
Absolutely. Dave was
So-
a member of Crossroads for a long time, over 10
Okay.
years, and then kind of went on a different path. And then that's when Nick stayed with me, and,
Okay.
and Jimmy joined the band. And yeah, I was thrilled.
Right on.
And, you know,
Yeah, because I mean, the live music scene around here is way different. You know, for example, I played at 516 this past Saturday, and I mean, I had fun, you know, but it was like I played up front, and I guess they have the back room is like DJs and stuff now, which I mean, and that's getting people through the door, you know, that because it's the reality of the situation is, you know, in your 40s and 50s and beyond, it's like you don't really have as much energy to go out and get hammered and like, spend a bunch of money at the bar, you know. So, but it's like, but these kids in their 20s, that's just what they do, and that's how the bar makes money, and that's how they pay the bands, you know. So it's this weird, it's at this weird point to where it's like, how are live musicians gonna
it is
engage with
yes.
like this new
my
kind
last
of generation?
Me too. As far as playing at 516, my last half dozen gigs have been in the front solo, and it's
Which
just
it's I don't mind playing up there.
no.
Not to cut you off.
It's a little more
No.
intimate though, too, right?
Yeah, right. You got the people right there. Although, like, I don't know how you. I mean, I kind of like that back room, especially for the band.
Mm-hmm.
You
The
got so
stage,
much
yeah.
room, the stage, but it's the times. We're fighting
Oh, yeah.
tough times
Oh,
right
yeah.
now, and
Everything's becoming digitized.
and not to mention laws. Like
Yeah.
you said, as we're getting older, no one wants any of
DUIs.
this aggravation anymore.
Right,
and,
it's true.
It's true.
And yeah, it's tough. And I remember when I came here in '94, a lot of people told me, the blues isn't going to go here. So happily,
You proved them wrong.
I
yeah, I was
proved
gonna
them
say,
wrong.
but
Yeah.
in this area, you're kind of like the legacy for that, though.
And
So
I'm
you changed that in the blues scene, and you did bring the blues scene back around in this area.
proud of that. The stick-to-itiveness. I mean, once everyone knows that when you're going to come and see Crossroads, it's going to be blues. We're not mixing in Leonard Skinner or anything like that. And nothing wrong with any of that,
Yeah, man.
because I like it all.
Yeah.
But that's what we do.
Yeah, right on. I forgot. I was just thinking
So
about
many
it's cool.
questions.
Yeah, like Leonard Skinner. I'm like just thinking Freebird now.
Well, that's what I mean. We all gone through that. Freebird.
Thousands of times.
Thousands of times.
That or Slayer.
Unrelated. This wasn't what I was gonna say, but I was remembering earlier today how like when I was, 5th grade or something, going for trumpet lessons at Valley Music, and there was this this Dean Les Paul style guitar with like it was like black with like gold hardware and like 3 humbuckers. And I just remember like going in there and just like staring at that guitar and like looking at all the details on it like every single time before my trumpet lessons. That was before I played guitar, but I just like, you know, I've always, you know, loved that. And it's cool that you guys, you know, have all that, like all those instruments there. And just, yeah, I mean, you know, you posted it up on social media last week, right? That, you know, Valley Music's closing the doors, but you didn't really say when. So
it's looking right now. It's going to be probably the end of March, and it's been a very hard decision, but heart wrenching for me. I mean, it's our 23rd year, but unfortunately, it's been the worst, and times are dictating change, and you know, everyone, like we were just saying, you know, where before music, we probably would have 250 to 300 selections of music that would change monthly. Well, now you just Google your music.
Right.
You know,
it's true, man. It's
and,
true.
and even the distributors are going out, and you know, you're just like you can't fight it. I'm proud. And one time I was sitting with Rick, and I was up to at least over a dozen musicians who are now playing out in the area who took lessons from me.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you proud.
Absolutely,
you know, it's
great.
You got to look at it like that aspect too. You know that, you know, even though you are closing the doors, what you have contributed and done for those musicians.
Yeah, I'm most proud of that. Just all the guys, the contacts that I've made. You too, you know, like you said, you came in when you were a kid. Now we're out, and we're peers. You know, to me that's a great feeling. You know,
right on.
And I'm still gonna teach. It's just the retail end that I have to let go, and it's, you know, it's sad, but you know, probably the end of March.
Okay. I think I might try to come back in and buy that Prince book, Purple Rain.
I'll put it aside for
all
you.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, just, you know, realistically, you know, there's Reverb.com and eBay and Craigslist, and it's like, you know, people are out hunting for gear online and stuff like that. So it's just, like you said, man, it's just a different landscape now. So we just got to adapt and keep evolving, right? It's a never-ending journey.
Exactly.
But
which, like we were kind of touching on before off camera, you know, the beauty and the curse of music is change and adapt. You got to adapt, and you know, it's the way it is.
Yep.
So going back to what we were talking about on camera with like the 516 thing, Steve Westerman's son, Mike, which I'm just now realizing that you both dads are Steve and both sons are Mike.
Yeah.
That's just a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't hook up.
Okay. That could be an interesting band, you know.
Yeah.
Steve Dad, Mike Son. But he's like, yeah, you know, maybe get like some live musicians into play, but then also with the DJ stuff, because it's important for people to see that, you know, people actually playing instruments, you know, that it doesn't just come from pressing a button or behind like a wall, you know. DJ, I'm not like knocking the DJ thing or anything, because it's its own thing. It's brand new.
It's completely different than what it used to be, though.
I mean, it was disco, people spinning records, right? That's, to me, that's what it is. It's the new disco.
Right.
But I think there's ways to be musical and creative and inventive with it, you know, the electronic side of things. But there's also, you know, ways to just press a button and let that get people to party. But at the same time, if people are partying and drinking and dancing, that's what the venues want to see, right?
It's what we want. It's, you know, it's getting, like you said, getting the people out there and maybe introducing some of the younger crowd to what the musicians are doing, and then it just goes over to the DJ at the end of that, and they can do their thing. And
yeah. So I think you know, one of the reasons that Jeff and I wanted to do this podcast is like, just to introduce some of the local musicians to a different audience too, maybe, because it's like once it's up online, we can have people from New Zealand and Croatia and wherever checking it out.
Right. And especially just like introducing their original music then too. Obviously we hear all the covers, but even though some of these local musicians haven't recorded their original stuff, the audience wants to hear that. What do you guys really want to? What do you have in you that they haven't listened to yet, if it hasn't been documented?
Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, that part of that is being original, and that's why I still do try to work on my original thoughts. This is what it was back then, and here it is. One guy, one guitar, wham.
Kind of timeless in some ways.
Yes,
totally.
And you think back in the '30s, and when all this stuff was starting to happen, we're approaching 100 years coming up pretty soon, and it to me, it's just once again, it's I take pride in just trying to keep it going,
Right on. Right on. And actually, so you were saying that your originals are more suited for the band, right? So if people want to catch your original tunes,
it'd be
electric style.
You got me talked into. I'm gonna have to do one. So
okay, all right. I mean, yeah. Jeff did a great job setting that up.
Yeah.
So, I was talking to Steve.
I gotta do it now.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm excited.
Right, we're for it.
I'm excited then, because I can't recall that I've heard one of your original tunes. So.
Yeah. I don't think I have either.
And then what else are you thinking you're gonna play for us?
I was gonna do an old Big Bill Brunsey, again probably from the mid '30s, called "Key to the Highway," and then I was gonna do a Buddy Guy, "Mary Had a Little Lamb."
Oh, classic! Right on.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, should we get out of his way so the man can do his thing?
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. Steve, thanks again so
Thank
much.
you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And everybody, thanks for listening. Sorry we've been kind of
took January off.
Yeah, been tight on schedule. So thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. So here's Steve Cerqua.
Thank you. I'm going to start with a Big Bill Brunsey, written around 1935. This song always kind of drew me in just from the fullness of the acoustic and a man playing solo. I got the key to the highway, and the light is not go. I'm gonna leave here running, walking most too slow. I'm going back to the border, where I'm better known, 'cause you haven't done nothing. Drove a good man away from home. Yeah, when the moon peeks over the mountain, I'll be on my way, and I'm gonna roam this old highway till the break of day. Give me one more kiss, darling, just before I go, 'cause when I leave this time, I won't be back no more. I'm going back to West Texas, that land behind the sun, and I'm gonna ask the good Lord what evil I have done. said, so long, babe. I must say goodbye. And I'm gonna roam this old highway until the day I die. I got the key to the highway, built out and bound to go. I'm gonna leave here running, walking most too slow. All right, this next one, this is original, written in a time of despair. I think you could be able to figure it out. She's through loving me. Well, that gal of mine, she's through loving me. Yeah, she packed the thing, said to leave her be. All alone, the world can be so cold. Yeah, all alone, the world can be so cold. And nothing lasts, at least that's what I'm told. Night, 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 where have you gone? Night, 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 I'm all alone. Yeah, it hurt me so. She said leave her be. It hurt me so. She said leave her be. She's got a new thing. Now I'm history. Night and night and night, where have you gone? Night and night and night, I'm all alone. Night and night and night, where have you gone? Night and night and night, I'm all alone. Yeah, hurt me so when she said leave her be. Well, it hurt me so, she said leave her be. Yeah, she got a new thing, now I'm history. All right. And this last one, written by Buddy Guy, Stevie Ray, as we were talking about before, kind of made this famous, but this is a Buddy Guy tune.
Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece is white as snow, yeah. And everywhere the child went, the lamb was sure to go, yeah. He followed her to school one day, broke the teacher's rule. What a time did they have that day at school. Tisky, tasky, babe. I'm greedy old bag. Wrote a letter to my baby. On my way, I passed it.